What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos Elemental Gear Progression Guide. In this video, we're going to be checking out two different melee gear progressions, one with normal weapons and the other with the Verac armor set. We are also going to be checking out the ranged gear progression, and I will also be showing you which items you should take and which you should keep using the Protect Item Prayer, because the Chaos Elemental is in the wilderness. Now, if you're looking for an updated Chaos Elemental guide, there will be one released shortly following this video, so if you're looking for that, you can check the description below. Additionally, if you're looking for a certain gear progression, there are also timestamps in the description below as well. We're going to kick this one off with our melee gear progression. In the helmet slot, your best in slot is going to be the Nitsnot face guard, followed by the Serpentine helm, and into the helm of Nitsnot. As for your chest item or your torso item, Bando's chest plate, followed by the Proselyte plate body. In the leg slot, you're going to have the Bandos Tassets, followed by the Proselyte legs. And in the cape slot, obviously, it is going to be the Infernal Cape, and then the Fire Cape, followed by the Myth's Cape, which is actually really good here because most of the stuff that you're going to be using has a good crush bonus. Into a Skill Cape, I just have the Attack Cape there, but you can use any one you want. It's mostly for the defense and the additional prayer bonus. And last is going to be a Vestment Cloak. Doesn't matter which one, they all do the same thing. As for the gloves, Ferocious Gloves are your best in slot since you are using melee. Barrow's Gloves, following that into Dragon Gloves and Rune Gloves, bringing up the rear there. As for the boots, Primordial Boots are going to be the best. Into the Dragon Boots, followed by Rune Boots, and then Climbing Boots. As for your weapon, because this is a wilderness boss, the Vigor's Chain Mace is going to be your absolute best option here. If it is charged up with Revenant Ether, it will give you a 50% bonus to attack and strength while you're fighting creatures in the wilderness. After this is going to be the Grazi Rapier and the Blade of Saldor. It does not matter which one, because the Chaos Elemental's defensive stats are identical for all melee styles. Following that is going to be Abyssal Tentacle, and last is going to be the Abyssal Whip. As for your offhand, Avernic Defender is your best in slot shield item. Dragon Defender, following that up with the Rune Defender, and then last is going to be the Unholy Book. If you don't have any of those, it does give +8 to all attack stats. In the Amulet slot, Amulet of Torture into an Amulet of Fury, and last is going to be the Amulet of Glory. Below that, you could use an Amulet of Power or Strength if you don't have the money for any of those. As for the ring slot, Berserker's Ring Imbued is the best, followed by the Explorer's Ring 4. You could also use a 3 as well. And last is going to be a Ring of Recoil. In the ammunition slot, you will want to use a Rada's Blessing. Doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. They are free to reclaim. You won't lose any money there. As for the special attack weapon, this is optional. I personally don't bring one, but it is going to be Dragon Claws, followed by the Dragon Dagger into a Crystal Halberd. Now, obviously, you're going to the wilderness. You're probably not going to want to bring every single best in slot item to fight this boss. 1, because of PKers. 2, because you'll be really mad if you die and lose all your stuff. So on the screen now, you'll see circles around some items. This is what I would suggest that you take if you are going to fight the Chaos Elemental. Helmet slot is going to be the Helmet of Nitsnot, followed by the Proselyte plate and legs. Myth's Cape as your cape. Ferocious Gloves is going to be your first protected item, not by value, just on this chart, but I would take those because they are best in slot. They do very well. As for the boots, Climbing Boots, but if you're not worried about losing the extra money, you can opt to take the Rune Boots or the Dragon Boots. As for the weapon, Vigor's Chain Mace, that is going to be your second protected item. Please keep in mind that even if you do protect that item in the wilderness, the Revenant Ether is always lost when you die. It does not matter if you keep the item. In the shield slot, you're going to protect your Avernic Defender, if that is what you decide to bring. As for the amulet, your last and final protected item, according to this chart, is going to be the Amulet of Torture. So your 4 protected items are Ferocious Gloves, Vigor's Chain Mace, Avernic Defender, and the Amulet of Torture. In the ring slot, I choose to bring the Explorer's Ring 4 for myself because it does give a little bit of extra prayer bonus. The Rada's Blessing 4 is my ammunition slot, and if I were to take a special attack weapon, it would be the Dragon Dagger. Like I said, I actually don't take one. It's not really that useful when using a Vigor's Chain Mace. Next up is going to be the Verac's gear progression if you decide to do it that way. Helmet is going to be the Verac's Helm. The chest slot is going to be the Verac's Brassard. Legs are going to be the Verac's Skirt. As for the cape slot, it is once again going to be the same as we just saw. Infernal Cape, followed by the Fire Cape, Myth's Cape, a Skill Cape, and then a Vestment Cloak. In the glove slot, Ferocious Gloves, Barrow's Gloves, Dragon Gloves, and finally Rune Gloves. Boots are going to be Primordial Boots, Dragon Boots, Rune Boots, and last is Climbing Boots. As for the weapon, since you're looking for that Verac set effect, it's going to be the Verac's Flail. As for a shield, you're using a two-handed weapon, so we actually don't have to worry about the shield. In the Amulet slot, Amulet of Torture, once again, is your best in slot, followed by the Amulet of Fury, and then the Amulet of Glory. In the Ring slot, Berserker's Ring Imbued, followed by an Explorer's Ring, followed by a Ring of Recoil. Ammunition slot is once again going to be the Rada's Blessing 4, or 3, 2, or 1 if that's what you have. Again, they are free to reclaim, so it's best to take one of those. As for your special attack items, I don't want to bring something that is a single-handed weapon such as the Dragon Dagger, so for this one it would be the Dragon Claws or the Crystal Halberd, since they are both one-handed weapons like the Verac's Flail. Now as for this setup, because of the value of Verac's pieces and what you will take here, you will actually lose somewhere north of about 150,000 GP if you decide to follow the setup that is now on the screen in circles. You will lose the Verac's Helm. Your protected items will actually be the Verac's Brassard, Skirt, Flail, and the Amulet of Torture. That is what I suggest you take for the Amulet, because you do have the opportunity to protect 4 items. If you don't want to risk the Verac's Helm, obviously use an Amulet of Glory and you'll protect the entire Verac set. As for the cape, I would actually say for both melee setups, if you do have an Infernal or Fire cape, you can purchase a Truver Parchment for 500,000 GP. And that allows you to die even higher than level 20 Wilderness. The item is bound to you, so you cannot lose it. But remember this, if you do die with the Truver Parchment attached to an item, it does go away. You will have to go buy another one and reapply it. So it's 500,000 GP every time you die and keep that item. As for your lost items, Myth's Cape is very nice because you will be using the Flail on Crush, Rune Gloves, Climbing Boots, or Rune or Dragon Boots if you'd rather fork out the cash for that and lose it. As for your other 2 lost items, the Explorer's Ring and the Rada's Blessing. For this setup, I don't take a special attack weapon either. I just rely on the set effect for the Verac's Armor set. Last but not least is going to be our ranged gear progression for the Chaos Elemental. In the helmet slot, your best in slot is going to be the Armadillo helmet, followed by a God coif, and it doesn't matter which one, I just like the color red, so I always use Zamorak. Into the Carol's coif, followed by an Archer's helm, and last is going to be a snakeskin bandana. For the torso spot, Armadillo chest plate, Blessed D'hide chest, and then a black dragon hide top. In the leg slot, it is actually going to follow that as well. Armadillo plate skirt into the Blessed chaps, into the black dragon hide chaps. As for your cape, it's going to be the Ava's Assembler or Ava's Max cape if you do have that, followed by the Ava's Accumulator, and then your next option is going to be a 99 ranging cape. As for the gloves, Barrow's gloves into Blessed Vambraces into black dragon hide Vambraces. Boots are going to be Pegasian boots, followed by Blessed boots, followed by snakeskin boots. As for your weapon, your best in slot here is going to be the crossbow, because like the Vigor's Chain Mace, it does give you the 50% increase to accuracy and damage for the ranging skill, provided you have it charged up with enough ether to give it charges. Following that is going to be the Twisted Bow, and I don't really know anybody that would want to take one of those to the wilderness. If you do, by all means, that is all on you. Next is going to be the Toxic Blowpipe with Adamant Darts or better, then the Armadillo Crossbow, followed by a Crystal Bow. And after that, you get into the Dragon Crossbow and the Rune Crossbow. If that's all you have, you can use that. As for your offhand, this only applies if you are using a crossbow. All of the other weapons are one-handed. It's going to be the Book of Law into the Zamorak book, the Unholy book, into the Book of Balance, which is Guthix's book. Your amulet, best in slot, is going to be the Necklace of Anguish, and then an Amulet of Fury, followed by the Amulet of Glory. Your best in slot ring here is actually going to be the Ring of Suffering RI, because it does give you plus 20 defense to all styles, and that is very helpful against Chaos Elemental. It does like to hit quite a bit. If you have it imbued with the recoil charges as well, it will also give you a little bit of recoil damage, just like a Ring of Recoil. Next is going to be the Archer's Ring into a Brimstone Ring, and last is going to be the Ring of Wealth imbued. That does double your chances of getting a clue scroll in the wilderness. If you do happen to be using a Twisted Bow, you're going to want to use Dragon Arrows, followed by Amethyst Arrows, and if you are using a crossbow, Diamond Bolts E, and I suggest these over Dragon Diamond Bolts E because they are quite expensive. Don't want to be losing those to PKers. And next is going to be Broad Bolts, and if you are using a Toxic Blowpipe or the crossbow or any other one-handed weapon that provides charges within itself, it is going to be a Rada's Blessing 3, 4, to whichever one that you have. Special attack weapon, not worth with range. You could choose to bring a blowpipe with you, but that is just more risk, so there is absolutely no reason that you need a special attack weapon with the ranged setup. So what is a good setup to take out there with you to make sure you don't lose a whole lot of money? Well, for me, I do take the Blessed Coif as my helmet slot. I also take the Black Dragonhide body and chaps because they're very cheap and not expensive to lose at all. Ava's Assembler, now you can opt to use something else like the Accumulator if you don't have many Vorkath heads. Me personally, I have a ton of them, so I don't have a problem losing an Assembler here and there. Barrow's Gloves are going to be your best option for the gloves, and you do want to take those as your glove slot and one of your protected item slots. Pegasian Boots actually give the same amount of range accuracy as Barrow's Gloves do, but the Barrow's Gloves give a bit more defense, so it is your better option. Snakeskin boots are my boots of choice. Don't cost much, doesn't matter if you lose them. Kral's Bow is going to be another protected item, and it is once again going to drop all of the ether if you are PK'd, so be wary of that. Try not to take 10,000 ether out there and lose it all. As for the book slot or the shield slot, I don't have one since the Kral's Bow is a two-handed weapon. I'm also going to be taking the Necklace of Anguish, which will be a protected item, and then the Ring of Suffering RI, which is my last protected item, so that makes 4, which are the Barrow's Gloves, Kral's Bow, Necklace of Anguish, and the Ring of Suffering. And my last lost item is going to be the Rada's Blessing 4. So that is it, guys, for your Chaos Elemental gear progression guide. I hope that you have learned something from this video, and if you were struggling trying to pick gear for the Chaos Elemental, I hope you now know exactly what you should do. Remember, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up down below, and if you haven't done so yet, tap the subscribe button. Once the Chaos Elemental 2021 guide is uploaded, the link will be in the description below, so you can follow that over to that video if you're having some trouble with the Chaos Elemental. Thank you all for watching. I will see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody.